Hey guys, it's time for question and answer again, but before we get started with the questions, there was a question there last time. I can't remember who it was, but he wanted to know exactly what this poster said on the wall. And that's what it says. I remember somebody posted this on the Facebook and I thought that was the funniest shit I'd ever seen in my life. So somebody made up one and framed it and sent it to me. That is friggin' awesome. And this here I got from Jen the Wild Yam. That is a canvas of one of the coolest trail cam pics you'll ever see. That is friggin' awesome. It's one of her trail cam pics and she put it up on a canvas for me. That is just beautiful. It's hanging on a good spot on the wall, and my daughter tried to confiscate it, but I wouldn't let her, so maybe someday. So anywho, we'll get to the question and answer. Alright, so anyways, the first question, and it's from Dean, and it is, Dave, do you get out and hunt for yourself at all? You know, normally I do bird hunting when I'm out trapping on my RTL, but the last 2 years with you know, trapping out in the farmland for the fall, it's kind of cut into that. Back when we had 3 weeks of deer season here, I used to get out. I'd go on our hunters come in on, like, start on Mondays and leave on Saturdays. So I used to go out on Sundays hunting for myself. But the last few years, when they cut the season back to 2 weeks, I haven't been out. And I'm pretty particular now because I don't have to shoot for meat. Because there's always at least 1 or 2 hunters that leave some of the meat or all of the meat with us. So I get as much deer meat as I need. And I try and get up north moose hunting, but oh my god, time is just, you know, and with you know, my wife's situation, I haven't been able to leave for long periods of time. So no, the last while I haven't, you know, the year I met my wife, I think it's 30 some nights I was on my archery deer stand before I shot a deer. And that got cut way back once I got married, or we weren't married for a long time, but anyways, so no, right now I don't get out, Dean. And like I said in the one question last time, hunting is second on my list of things to do, right behind trapping. So if I can be out trapping every day instead of hunting, yeah, that suits me fine. So okay, question number 2 is from Wade Whitman, and his question is, here in the States, and it's Tennessee, he said he sends his fur to NAFA. And before we go any further, I would double check with whoever you send it to, Wade, because I heard rumors that NAFA has cut out a lot of their pickup locations down in the States. You know, and it's strictly a monetary thing, a business decision. I mean, don't quote me on that. That's just what I heard through some of their other people. So, but anyways, he wants to know if there's a way to ask FHA to expand so that there can be more pickup locations. Yeah, everybody that wants to do that should phone FHA and tell them to let them know, because it costs a lot of money to set up these pickup routes, you know, because they have to pay the, you know, the people that drive around, pick them up, you know, the locations that hold the fur. You know, and in a market like this, it's probably not likely that they're going to expand too much. They're, you know, the auction houses are just kind of holding their own to get through this the slow spell, like every business does in a, you know, in a slow spell. They don't generally expand too much, but phone them and you know, just tell them that you would like it, and tell them your location and stuff like that, and they will see. I'm sure that if they get enough calls to where it's, you know, they're not going to lose money to you know, to get it there. They may end up doing it. You know, it probably ain't going to happen next week, but just you know, call and let them know. That would be my best. And yeah, I know sending your furs to a trapper-owned auction house is, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's the only way to go, and that's why I sell my fur there, as everybody knows. And so, anyways, you know, phone them, let them know. 705-495-4688, I believe, is the phone number. Well, you can Google it and see. Google FHA. Okay, anyways. Giz501 wants to know. I mentioned about traps, about traps being vandalized, skidooers interfering on your line, etc. Has the attitude towards trapping altered over the years that you have noticed? Would your lines and traps have been respected in past times, especially when you were a young guy, or are the traditional ethics still holding good? I'm assuming, of course, that traditionally any poaching and stealing from what was in fact a guy's family and livelihood was just never ever contemplated, but even being too romantic on that score. And yeah, well, you know, I don't think for prices, this is a great question for right now, because you know, it's very good timing for that question, because when I post the video of today's time out on the line, you'll see I had 3 out of my 5 muskrat funnels 2 weeks or 2 trips in a row now has not had a muskrat in them, and 2 of them I could obviously see that they were not the same way they were when I set them. So somebody's been going there checking my sets. You know, I guess it's bad enough, you know, stealing traps, but I mean, how low do you got to be to steal $2 muskrats out of a trap? That is just hilarious to me. You know, and like I said in the video, man, I would just love to catch them. You know, I'd kick them in the nuts so hard their friggin' children would be bruised. That is just so vile to me. But I mean, I just think everywhere in society, especially with some young people, yeah, there's just a much more lack of respect for stuff like this. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know who you know is doing it. When I happened to be checking one 3 trips ago, and a vehicle drove by with 2 young guys from the community just down the road, and they kind of just looked at me as they went by. And since then, that funnel trap has not had a rat in it. And then any other place where I pulled off on the side of the road to, you know, they could see my tracks pulled over, they went there and checked and the same thing, I guess. But not only that, but the 2 floats that I have on that one pond that are right close to the road behind the bulrushes, but they can get at them from the road. Neither one of them has even had a trap or a rat sprung in it. So, you know, but the ones that are out where they got to walk through 4 feet of water have had rats in them. It's yeah, crazy. But anyways. Okay, so Rendezvous is, he can really relate to the slowing down question. He has put the damper on everything. I lost 22 pounds with that Rendezvous. It's him. He was looking at the picture of the raccoon on the wall, and he was just wondering what the caption said. So, okay. Jacob is asking how everything turned out with the wardens taking the traps off my line last season. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, those traps, those were at the meeting, the fall trappers meeting, which I missed. Never received a notification of the meeting. But so I had better than a dozen marten traps set that were not certified. Because they've been slowly telling us, you know, well, they're going to have to, at some point, we're going to have to get rid of the old ones and get new ones, blah, blah, blah. And so, anyways, it was at that meeting I missed last year that the game wardens came and said that, yeah, now's the time. They're not going to be allowed to be used anymore. So, anyways, I guess somebody saw that I was using them on the videos and called the game wardens and complained. So they went out and checked, and yeah, anyways, so they did. They had no other choice. They had to do something about it because the public had complained. And so, because if it was just a single trap, I would have just gotten a fine, you know, and everything. But because it was the number of traps, there was I had to actually go to court, and I pled guilty because, well, obviously I was guilty. Ignorance is no excuse for breaking the law, right? Yeah, and it was $1,000 fine, and plus I lose my guiding privileges for a year, and then I have to take the guiding course over again. In Manitoba, if you have one game and fish violation, you lose your guiding privileges. So not only do I have to take the first aid over again, the hunter safe or the guiding license, and plus, because I can't guide this fall or last spring, I had to pay somebody to be in my place. So it ended up probably costing me about $3,000 because of those traps. So, anyways, that's what it was. Bradley Short, he was wondering what I use for bait in my skunk and coon boxes. Keep up the great work, thanks. Yeah, I don't have skunk or coon boxes. I think you're probably thinking Martin and Fisher and mink boxes. I use almost, in the fall, I'll use muskrat for mink and stuff while it's still warm. For that, like 4 days we get of mink season when it's actually warm, and I will use muskrat or fish. I keep some fish from the lodge over the summer, some fish heads and stuff. But the rest of the time I use beaver meat. And the only coons I catch are by accident. And skunks, I have not caught a skunk up here in as long as I've been up here. I've seen a few, almost ran one over when I went into my cabin a couple weeks ago. But I've never caught I don't think I've caught a skunk since I've been up here. Hey Dave, I want to know if you prefer your length of cable or wire to tie your 30s down on the run set. And if you like the Savagio 6-foot length and tie-up clips. Luke, yeah, when I bought my first Savagio traps, those wires came, those cables came with the traps. They don't anymore, but I absolutely love those cables so much that I've made enough for every trap I have. Even my I'm making 1 foot ones for the Savage Martin and the Blyles and the LDL traps that I have. I make them 5 feet long, 6 feet long, whatever. It's not an exact measurement with me like anything is. And but the one thing those clips, I love the clips where you clip onto the trap, but those other part where you can put it around and put the cable through around a tree, I just don't trust that thing. So I put, on the ones I made, I put swivels, coyote swivels, and I just wire that directly to the tree instead of having it. Yeah, but I just love that idea. It works really, really well. The only 2 traps that I lost to the bears were wired down with regular 14 gauge haywire. The bears 8 that didn't get them taken away were on those cables. So, anywho. Dave, what's the weirdest or most unique thing I've ever caught beaver trapping? Oh, well, I mean, the most... I've caught, when I was down in southern Ontario, I've caught snapping turtles. I've caught raccoons, I've caught fish, I've caught trout. Speckled trout spawn in the fall, and I've caught them in traps. I've caught whitefish, they spawn in the fall too. I caught everybody's caught ducks, but I caught a mergansers one time 4 feet down in a channel going under a beaver dam. I guess it was more an otter / beaver set, but it was, I think it was 3 feet down. I never caught anything really weird. Probably the weirdest was that turtle. What else? Well, and even this year I caught 2 raccoons in beaver traps, which I don't know if you've got a lot of raccoons, that's probably not too weird, but that's about it, I guess. Caught myself one time by the leg. That was awesome. Jeremiah Johnson wants to know, do I have a son or a nephew who will take over your line someday? Doesn't look like you're going anywhere time soon, but those cabinets will be there for a long time, and I'm hoping someone in your family will continue where and when you leave the line. P.S. Still waiting on book number 2. Yeah, it's book number 2 is in the works this time of the year. It's just real tough to get any time to finish it up, but yeah, I'm hoping my 2 boys at some point will, show an interest, but they're in that stage, right now where they're starting their lives and stuff like that, and trapping has got to be a pretty important part of your life to put up with the fights with the wife and things like that when you're young. So I'm hoping as they get older they will want to do that. And they used to come out in the bush with me all the time when they were younger, but like the oldest, he lives 2.5 hours away. The youngest is here right now, but he's more into the gaming right now than actually doing physical work, so we'll see. Hopefully we can slowly wean him off that stuff. Anyways. Andy wants to know if I remove the glands, and Andy, I've said on the videos a couple times, I am not a big coyote guy. This is my first year seriously going after them other than on my own property, because normally, like last year I was done trapping the farmland, I think by the 25th of October. Probably, I think actually before that. So I didn't even put any coyote sets out last year in the farmland. And in my RTL I don't get, like if I catch 2 coyotes a year in there, it's pretty rare because those guys in the wolves don't get along well. And so I honestly have no idea where to look for them. I'm like you said, I imagine they're in the same location as most animal glands, right around the anus. But I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. I just don't know anything about them. Alrighty. Sylvan says I check my traps every day. Do I check yours every day or every other day? Thanks. Yeah, I check in the fall like this. I check them every second day because normally I got more critters than I can skin when I get home. So like I said, I've been keeping it down this year to a dull roar. I'm not doing any 25. Last year I could only go every 3 days because like I said, the first day I checked my beaver traps, I had 23. The next time I checked them, I had 19. The time after that, 21. My back is not strong enough anymore to allow me to skin that many. Although I did, really fast. I did make a table there a few days ago that I'll show on a video there shortly, but it's where I can sit down and skin beavers now and have this thing on a table still. It works awesome. So I'll show it to you guys in a bit and stuff. But yeah, checking traps every day really is unless you have a time frame where you have to check foot traps every day. It just wouldn't be, I just wouldn't be able to do it. Anyways, hey Dave, what do you ship your beaver casters in? Plastic bags or paper bags? You never ship your caster in plastic, always in a paper bag. And I put in a paper bag a little bit at a time, like I'll have 4 or 5 bags, and then inside a box inside or if I take them out of the freezer and I know they're getting shipped right away, then I'll take them out of the freezer, hang them up in the shed so that there's no sweating, like condensation when they thaw. So they'll hang up again and they'll thaw out and dry on the outside, then put them in the paper bags and then put them in a plastic bag and ship them right away. Like I do that the day I'm shipping so that there's not a chance of moisture and rotting. But don't let them sit next to plastic. It's not very good for them. Chris says, Dave, it's legal for me to keep a trapped animal alive in a cage as long as it is fed, given water, and the cage kept clean. I was thinking I could check traps in the morning before going to work and just keeping the animal alive in the cage until I could skin it. Would I keep a coyote alive in a cage for up to a week until you're able to skin it? Not in a million years. Number one, here that would be totally illegal, I'm sure, where I live. I've never checked, but I can only imagine. Because number one, you're not allowed to take wild or live animals out of the bush without some kind of permit. I know that. But no, in a cage, a wild animal in a cage, I don't think it's humane. Plus, I gotta believe that they'd be flopping around and possibly damaging their fur. I think you'd be much better off to kill it and put it into a freezer or something until you can skin it, or even a refrigerator. If you can, buy old refrigerator for $30 or a chest freezer. You know, I buy them all the time because they don't last forever. I have 4 up at the lodge. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them in my garage, and another one beside my skinning shed. You know, I bought them all for $7,500 each. So I would just kill it and put it right in there. Or, I mean, it only takes, you know, like a coyote would take, what, half an hour to skin it. You know, just skin it and put the skin in in a bag and in the freezer. But yeah, I gotta believe that they would damage their fur if they were in a cage, because I don't think a wild animal would stop trying to get out. And having only ever done that once in my life when I was 14, I caught a mink in a muskrat trap in the spring, so I brought it home. And then it begs the other question. I remember how much trouble I had getting that mink home live. How the heck would you get a coyote home live? That seemed like it'd be difficult to do. But anyways, that mink, I made a cage for it and everything, and I wanted to keep it alive because I knew the season wasn't open. I was going to try and keep it till the fall, and it lasted, well, the next morning it had forced its way out of the cage and was gone, so that didn't last long. But anyways, yeah, no, I wouldn't do it, but mainly because it's, you know, for number one, it's illegal here, I'm sure, and I don't think it would be a good idea. But anyhow, okay, that's the last question on there. So the other thing people were asking me is about this the video where, you know, about the subscriptions, you know, and I'm leaning way away from a subscription channel and more into a like a GoFundMe or type thing, where if somebody wants to, you know, make a contribution or whatever they can. I just, like I said, I don't, you know, I do this a lot for the young guys and stuff, young trappers or whatever that, you know, may not have the kind of money to put out a subscription, and I hate to cut them out of any of the, you know, any of the videos. So if anybody knows how to do a GoFundMe type thing, I mean, I know I look like a tech genius on this channel and stuff, but really I'm a moron. I mean, I've just got this basic doing this stuff that my wife showed me how a few years ago, and that's the only thing I've figured out so far, and anything else is pretty much beyond me. So anyhow, very good. That's the end of Q&A number, I'm not sure what it is, 9 or 10. So get some more questions out there and we'll see. Oh, and by the way, sorry I'm a day late. I forgot what day it was yesterday. Alrighty, have a good night.